Can you hear me now?
I can. Are we live?
We are about to go live.
Well, we're live on audio.
How's that?
Now we're live on video. My cousin is talking to me.
All right.
All right. Let's see. Oh, I wonder how this... Let's see. What are the preferences set here? That's correct. All right. It is... let's see. It's time for roll call. We might have Will, but maybe not. And John and Rose and Rick Cartwright, or Audio Check Rick, as we like to call him, and Sandy and Frank. Now, oh, wait. I'm not in... Oops.
Discord? Yeah, I don't see you in Discord.
Uh-oh. What happened? What happened? I just want to go there.
There
Oops,
you go.
I just introduced all you guys, and you were Sandy and Toby and Audio Check Rick. There we go.
Can you hear her chat room? Is her audio up there?
I got a green circle. That's a good sign.
She hears her. Is she low or about the same as me?
It's pretty weird that I'm not loud enough to somebody.
Yeah,
no one has ever said that to me before.
You're louder than me.
Bit lower. That's so weird.
I'll back my mic off a little.
I suppose that's the way to go.
Yeah, because mine is pretty close.
Okay. Go away, Lily. How do I make message? Oh, I guess I got to do this. Do not disturb. There we go. All right. Let's do an audio check for the audience. Make sure they can hear this. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com. All right. And here we go. And this is the part where I tell you guys to tell me, but Steve will tell you. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com.
Sounds good to me.
You guys hear that? Sandy thinks she doesn't see video.
All right, where are you, Sandy? If you might want to go in and refresh if you're in Allison's live page.
Ask the other guys if they can see it.
Anyone else see video?
I'm on the website and I see this clock ticking.
Well, I'm on the website and I see us live. Why don't you do a refresh? See what happens.
Live dashboard. Hang on, are YouTube live? Let me see if I see us.
Hey, Dorothy. Was Dorothy there?
Dorothy. Nope. Dorothy came in under the wire. I don't think she has. If Rush is late again, he's going to have to bring drinks and cupcakes.
Yeah.
The next time.
Yeah.
Hey, who's coming for the... Oh, Sandy's got us. Good. Dorothy's got video. Wheel says video.
I think we're good.
I've always been here.
You're here for us, huh, Dorothy?
They don't call her Mac Lurker for nothing.
Right.
Wait a minute. TJ's here. He's answering, but I don't see him in the attendee list.
Yeah, how is that?
TJ, what have you done? Have you gone stealth?
He's probably hidden himself somehow. Well,
TJ.
You know, maybe he's in the voice channel. Maybe he's just not in the chat channel. Can that be?
He's got to be.
Oh, he just playing Allison and Steve. So he just popped up. I don't know. Fixed it.
How did you do that?
He made himself appear. He's probably going in stealth mode. Invisible.
I was invisible. Oh, you can do that? Can I be invisible? No, I'm on video. All right, we should probably get the show on the road. This shouldn't be too long of a recording show. It's going to be plenty long in the end, but it shouldn't be too long here.
Oh.
All right.
I'm going to hold you to that.
So, what's that?
I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, maybe you need to take your collar off.
We got a caller problem. Houston, we've got a caller problem.
Do you guys like my shirt?
Yes.
Normal. Oh, Jerry's here. Jerry, you're getting another shout out today, but you're going to be called on the carpet for missing something.
Uh-oh.
All right. Muting Steve. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, September 9th, 2018, and this is show number 696. Well, last week's show had just a few hiccups. When you heard the introduction, you heard me thank Jerry in the chat room for correcting me on the day of the week. Sadly, Jerry and no one else noticed that I also said the wrong show number. Evidently, I'm the only one who ever notices the numbers because I never hear from you guys when I mess it up. However, there was a third problem. 4 hours after the show was up, Alistair Jenks from New Zealand wrote to me to tell me that a big chunk of the show was missing. I know exactly when it happened, but I still don't know how it happened. In last week's show, you should have heard me do a setup for why I was reviewing 3 apps to entertain a toddler. And you should have heard me talk about an app called Bandamall. If your podcatcher picked up the show too quickly or they cached my audio file, you didn't hear any of that. You just heard me say Bandamall isn't accessible with VoiceOver, and then I moved on to the second app of the 3. When Alistair pointed it out, I did a couple of things. In retrospect, I should have killed the item in the feed first, minimizing the number of people who would get the wrong file, but instead I jumped in and I fixed the file first. Lesson learned for next time. Now, I did remember that during the original recording, I did a section where I said Bandamall wasn't accessible, and then I stopped recording. And I was thinking to myself, maybe I shouldn't mention it because I didn't test the other 2 apps, and then that's just going to raise a bunch of questions. And after arguing with myself in my head, I decided, I'll just leave it in and move on. Somehow during that stop and start, I managed to cut out that entire setup, and I have no idea how it happened. So that's scary. Anyway, I re-recorded that segment. I re-exported the entire show. I re-uploaded it through Auphonic Leveler with the letter A at the end of the title of the audio file, and then I got to work on the feed. I changed the title of the feed item to 695A, so the other one would cease to exist, and I deleted the broken episode from Libsyn, and I republished the show. And then I had to tell people what had happened. I wrote it up in our Facebook group at podfeet.com/Facebook. I wrote it up in our Google Plus group at podfeet.com/Google Plus. I wrote it up on my LinkedIn profile. Don't follow me on LinkedIn because I only use it for plugging my content. And finally, I wrote it up on the Podfeet Press. Now, you may not know about the Podfeet Press, but it's a newsletter that I created specifically so I'd have a way to communicate with listeners when things go wrong. Every week, if you sign up for the Podfeet Press, you do get 2 emails announcing the latest episode of the NosillaCast and Chit Chat Across the Pond. It's kind of a nice feature because you get to see if you're interested in the topics of the shows. But the real value is that when things go wrong, like last week, or if something out of my control happens, like say my web hosting company is having a problem, or maybe if an illness strikes me and I'm unable to do the show, you'll be able to find out first if you're on distribution for the Podfeet Press. You can sign up for the Podfeet Press, to the Podfeet Press by going to podfeet.com. And if you click in the menu bar at the top of any web page, you'll see the Podfeet Press sign up. Click that link, put in your email address and your name. If you choose, you could be anonymous as well. And then choose how you want to get your emails, whether you want to get HTML or text formatted, and hit subscribe. Now, I do want to point out, this is not the Hotel California. If you don't like it, you can always leave. You can unsubscribe with no penalties whatsoever. I won't even call you out for it. I hope you'll consider signing up because I feel terrible like this when things like this happen. Now, Bart told me recently, he said, Allison, I don't freak out when stuff goes wrong because you know what? Nobody ever dies because a podcast is messed up. Mellow out. I can't, though. I feel terrible when this kind of thing happens because I put my heart and soul into writing this stuff and then reading this stuff to you and having you hear what I think about stuff, and then to have 5 minutes and the whole thing sounds stupid just makes me feel terrible. I can tell you, though, I got over it when my dear friend Linda, whom I've known literally since 1972, responded to the Podfeet Press announcement like this: "One mess up in 695 episodes, that's it. I'm out of here." Stop. Save. Save now. Bookmark and make more sausage. Master Steve commands it.
Well done, Rick. We got to tell
played.
Kevin that you covered well there.
Yeah, get a screenshot of that and send it to Kevin. He'll love that.
Do that.
That's excellent. By the way, if John is here. He told us to have John and Rick sumo wrestler for who was going to get to be wingman tonight.
Sumo wrestle?
Sumo wrestle. I said arm wrestle. He said sumo wrestle. Is Podfeet the Twitter account? Got to give it a follow. Yes, as a matter of fact. Oh, I didn't even mention that I tweeted it.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
That's what's been pointed out in the chat room.
Oh, should I tell him? I'm going to come back in with that.
Okay.
Okay. Muting Steve. Okay, the live chat room just reminded me that I also tweeted out on my Podfeet Twitter account and on my NosillaCast account that the show was messed up. So they're always keeping me honest. Well, this week's Chit Chat Across the Pond was really, really interesting. You guys have heard me talk about Toby from the live chat room, and in fact, you've heard a couple of Toby's reviews on the show. Just last week, he reviewed melodics in his own style, including yelling at his sister to shut up, which I think was my favorite part. Anyway, Toby and his dad came to MacSoc Expo in Chicago, and I got to talking to his dad about what he does for a living. Turns out Toby's dad, also known as Dr. Michael Kramer, is a professor of digital history at Middlebury College. I convinced Dr. Kramer to come on the show to talk about what he teaches and why he thinks it's important to understand. This show did not get it all where I thought it would go. I expected we'd talk about things like, the evolution of the floppy drive, but instead we talked about how our digital history impacts other fields like humanities. He gave us the link to his course syllabus, and it's filled with fascinating topics, so I plan to have him back again. You can find this week's episode of Chit Chat Across the Pond in your podcatcher of choice, also under Chit Chat Across the Pond Lite, or you can simply listen over at podfeet.com. All right, I might do it. That's got to be Toby. What is he doing now?
Well, if you scroll up, he's giving you the text that allows you to give that Save Now font.
Save Now, bookmark, and make more sausage Master Steve commands. Wow. Only Toby.
Cal Mickey's joined.
Cal Mickey. Let's see. I haven't seen Cal Mickey on a long time. Let me see if I can pull his name out.
I bet I can. I'm
going to go with Mike. Oh, you're cheating. You're using the magic decoder ring. Do it, Steve.
It's not Mike. It's Chris.
Chris. Hang on. There's a reason it's Cal, though. Maybe it's not.
Well,
is it just from California?
Yeah. Last I heard, he was in Santa Monica.
Ah, okay. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna do a chapter mark, but I'm going to. This is just. Oh, this isn't it. Shoot. No, I don't want that chapter mark. How do you get rid of a chapter mark? Delete. There we go. All right.
Oh, you know what that is? California, Michigan, Kentucky.
That's what it was. I knew there was something tricky about the name.
Yeah, because the K, I didn't notice the K was capitalized.
Let's see. Let's talk Apple. And I'll get this link, copy this link. So I can put this in. It's actually a good idea.
What are you putting in?
I'm putting in the...
Well, you're not editing on the fly, are you?
No, I'm doing what Rick said.
Ah. Wait, what did Rick say?
He said to put in a chapter mark.
Ah.
Okay, this is going to be a short one. Muting Steve. Steve's in a good mood tonight. He's funny. Come on. There we go. This week, I had the great pleasure of being invited on Bart Bouchat's Let's Talk Apple podcast with Adam Christensen from the MacCast and Mark Chappell from Essential Apple. We had what Bart likes to call a medley of medium-sized stories to discuss. If you haven't ever listened to Let's Talk Apple, it's a slowed-down look back at the previous month's news. Instead of the thrills and excitement of breaking news, it's a measured, thoughtful show where Bart and the guests try to analyze what's happened in the bigger context of Apple news. I hope you'll go check it out at lets-talk.ie. All right.
Let's see. Hold on. What happened here?
I don't know what happened here.
All right. That one seemed to have stuck.
I'm going to give this a chapter mark. What stuck?
Well, I entered a link, and it was taken down.
Really?
Or removed, or it didn't stick. Maybe it just didn't completely.
That's weird.
Store. Anyway, it's there now. California, Michigan, Kentucky. Good. We remembered correctly.
We remembered. We can't remember anything.
That's why
Don't
we have
let him.
Uh-oh. No, come on, TJ. Why would you react that way? Okay, he took it down. Oh, I think he he accidentally hit the wrong icon. Or you put a poop icon instead of a heart icon.
Oh.
Now it's a heart. Okay. We'll take that.
That's right, because
Is poop next
wait
to
a
hurt?
minute.
It shouldn't be.
Steve has not been drinking either. Well, much.
Well, I did start a beer here.
All right. Here we go. All right. I'm saving. Get off my back. All right, here we go. This coming Wednesday, September 12th, Apple will be having its big Gather Round event at 10 a.m. Pacific time. I hope you'll join me and Steve and the rest of the NosillaCastaways in the live chat room to do text chatting while the show goes on. It's great fun and a great way to get your toes wet in the live chat room if you haven't been there before. So if you haven't been there before, go to podfeed.com/chat and follow the instructions to create a Discord account. This chat, or that link, is an official link to our specific chat server, so you should be able to poke around in there and see what people have been talking about. We won't be using the audio chat channel that Steve and I normally talk in to broadcast because I think people like to listen more than listen to us talk about what we think. Now, there is a channel called Everyone Can Talk, but I suggest that you go in there at your own risk. Now, if you'd rather not make an account, you can always go to podfeed.com/live, and there's an embedded Discord chat window there, which does not require a login. Don't be confused. There's a video there, but I won't be live on video, again, for the same reason. I think people like to listen to the show, so they don't want to be talking to, seeing me or hearing me yap about it. In any case, if you're in a time zone where the live show is normally, say, while you're sleeping, this might be a great chance to meet everyone, so I hope you'll join us. I saw a dumb word in there. A Discord account, not a Discord chat. Discord account. All right. I think we're finally going to get to some content.
Yeah, we're only, 16
7 minutes in.
Oh, 7 recorded minutes. Got it.
Yeah.
Oh,
all right. Uh-oh.
This is important.
Your light won't go on normally, but it'll go on now, right? Okay, where is... So, preview. Jeez, I messed this all up. No. Yes, that is what I want. Okay, so I'm getting a save request. Here we go.
Good job, Rick. He's on top of it.
Whoa. Total breakup.
You're fine here.
Now you're back.
Okay.
You
Probably
were
just
super
momentary.
zombie.
I do have activity monitor running.
Yeah, how's it looking? What you really want to see is network traffic.
Right when you said that, there was a dip in the CPU. A dip in the CPU.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Here we go. Okay, got my chapter marker ready, got my text, muting Steve. Now that we take so many of our photos with our mobile devices, it's even more important that we have good editing tools that fit the interface of a mobile operating system. Now, I'm wild about Affinity Photo for iPad, but it's kind of a sledgehammer of an app. It's so capable, but it's a big app. Sometimes you just need to fix a small problem in a photo, not create artwork. The darling of photo editing on iOS and Android is Snapseed, but for some reason, it just doesn't fit the way my brain works. I know people love it. I can hear you yelling at your device right now, George, but it just has never really worked for me. Now let's lay out a few problems to be solved. Have you ever taken a photo of a gorgeous sunset only to look at the photo later and realize there's a power line in the photo? Or maybe you've got a great shot of your child playing in the sand on the beach, but you didn't notice there's a trash can prominently showing in the background? How about your favorite teenager going through a difficult skin year and you want them to look their best? The app I turn to for these kinds of edits on iOS is called Touch Retouch from Advasoft. That's ADVASOFT. Touch Retouch is $1.99 for iPad and another $1.99 for iPhone and iPod Touch. There's even a more advanced version for the Mac at $15, but that won't be the subject of this review. We're going to take a look at that another day. When you open Touch Retouch, you'll see two big round buttons in the middle of the screen. One takes you to your albums and photos. The other is tutorials on how to use the app. The tutorials are excellent. They're these really tiny, short little videos that demonstrate each feature, so in just a few minutes you can get the hang of how to use Touch Retouch. There's also a little bit of text, too, to explain it a little more. Now, if you tap on Albums, Touch Retouch will ask for permission to access your photos, which makes complete sense. Now, I have an elaborate folder structure and albums, and I have 70,000 photos in my library, and the entire structure was accessible inside Touch Retouch. Okay, the family is chatting, or Kevin is. I better quit. I had Telegram open. Stephen and Kevin are chattering away. Okay, here we go.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Kevin.
Oh, sorry.
Kevin apologizes for not being in the chat room.
Oh, poor guy. All right, muting Steve. Sorry. You can also navigate your photos library via Apple-created smart albums like Moments, Favorites, Selfies, Live Photos, Portrait, Panoramas, Bursts, and Screenshots. Why do I have 2,300 screenshots, do you think? Well, anyway, you can also see your shared albums, including images shared by other people. I presume if you edit them, you won't be able to save back into the shared album, especially if you didn't originally create the photo. Well, when you first open an image in Touch Retouch, you'll see 4 icons across the bottom of the screen. You get Object Removal, Quick Repair, Line Removal, and Clone Stamp. Now, these icons are pretty recognizable for their functions, which is a good thing because the font for the names is 1 millimeter tall. Now, to put that in perspective, the smallest text I could see on my 5K display at its default resolution and Amazon was triple that size. I know I'm getting old, but even with my glasses, that font is small. All right, enough whining about apps that have fonts that are too small. Let's go through each of these options and see how well they perform and see how easy they are to use. Once you tap the object removal icon, you'll get 5 new icons across the bottom. Highlighted will be an icon that says Brush underneath it in 1 millimeter tall letters. With Brush, you smear around on the screen with your finger over unwanted objects like that trash can in the background of your beach photo. As you drag your finger, Touch Retouch will display a green overlay showing where you've selected. If you want to select more on screen, you could lift your finger and drag even more of the area. If you covered something unintended, one of the icons across the bottom is the eraser. With the eraser selected, you can remove some of the green to change your selection. In addition, there's an icon for a lasso. With that, you can simply encircle another area. All of these actions are taken before your image is modified. Once you're happy with your selections, you can tap a green Go button that appeared on the bottom right as soon as you started selecting anything on screen. Touch Retouch removes the selected area and replaces it with the best match from the surrounding area. Now, on a nearly 2-year-old 12.9-inch iPad Pro, the changes to the image happened nearly instantaneously. I mentioned the speed because I was watching an older video on YouTube about Touch Retouch, and there was a significant pause where the user had to wait until they could see the effect of their selection. I don't know if they were on a super slow phone or if the software is much faster these days, but I sure don't have to wait at all to see whether the removal worked or not. There's a settings icon at the bottom with a single purpose, and that's to give you a slider to change the size of the area selected as you drag around on screen. Now, this is handy on both ends. It's nice to make it more precise for smaller selections and ginormous when you want to remove something larger. Now, while you're dragging your finger around, in the upper left, you get a magnified circle that shows you exactly what you're selecting. So that's kind of nice because your finger is over the thing you're selecting and you can't see it, so that magnifying area is pretty important. Now, if you've worked ever with any kind of retouching application like this, you know that your success will be highly dependent on what you're trying to remove and the complexity of the area from which you're removing it. In demos, we always like to remove a tiny bird from a nice smooth blue sky. Now, I've never used a tool that will fail that test. Another great demo is when you've got something on top of a nicely random surface. I, for example, tried to remove some leaves from a grungy cement driveway, and that was a cakewalk for Touch Retouch. Overall, I would say that Touch Retouch was on par with the better tools I've used, like Affinity Photo's in-painting tool. It did struggle in certain conditions and worked well in others. If this was the only tool set you had with Touch Retouch, it would be of mild use, but when you add in the other tools Touch Retouch has, it's significantly more useful. At the top of the screen, we have undo and redo buttons. They don't work exactly like what I expected, but they might work the way we actually would want them to. Let's say I smeared around on one spot with my finger, and then I use the eraser to remove where my fat finger grabbed something unintended, and then I hit the go button. When I hit undo once, it goes back to showing me in green the area I had selected, minus the part I'd erased. If I hit undo again, the erasure of the selection is undone. Undo a third time and the original selection is removed. So it's basically backing you up step by step, not a complete, okay, don't remove anything. I expected that entire change to be removed on one undo, but this ability to go step by step is even better because you can experiment with refining a selection without having to start over each time. Also in the top menu bar, available on all tools, is a before and after button. If you tap and hold, you'll see the original image, and then when you let go, you'll see the retouched version. It's a really nice way to see how much progress you're making. Along the bottom menus, there's a back arrow which takes you to the top level menu again. The second icon, with teeny letters, is for quick repair. Now remember how in object removal we did a lot of different selections and erasures, and then we hit go? Well, with quick repair, you simply select something to remove, and when you let go, it's gone. Quick Repair has two tools, a brush, just like we had before, that when dragged around on screen selects everything under your fat finger and erases it. The second icon, though, is called Blemish Removal. That's if I'm reading the teeny tiny text correctly. Blemish removal is designed to fix those unfortunate blemishes we talked about earlier that plague our teenage faces. The trick of a good blemish removal tool is to match the skin tone and texture when it does the replacement. I tried it on a few spots on some people's skin, and it worked beautifully. I should mention that the blemish tool, removal tool isn't a brush. You simply tap on the blemish and it vanishes instantly. Like the object removal tools, Quick Repair also has a settings icon that lets you change the size of the quick brush and the blemish removal tool. While you're working in Touch Retouch, you might find that you want to zoom in. A simple pinch to zoom in and out will remove the menus along the top of the screen and briefly display the current zoom level instead. After about 1 second, the zoom level will disappear and your menu icons will return. Stopping to take a breath. I'm sure Steve has something he needs to chatter about.
Not so much.
110 messages in 8 minutes. I was talking to you guys. From you guys.
Us. What? 110?
110
Seriously?
new messages.
No way.
Oh, wait, it says since 5:03.
We did talk a lot about Victor. TJ asked, where did all the jingles come from on the NosillaCast?
You slowed down again. Did your CPU dip?
Let me check. It spiked. Oh, now it's dipped. It spiked and dipped, yeah.
Interesting.
You
talked about where the jingles came from?
Yeah, so it's basically iTunes.
No, GarageBand.
Oh, well, okay. I'm sorry. I said iTunes, right. GarageBand.
Yeah.
And that app that Digital Juice, and then the one Victor provided.
Right.
For dumb question.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to get back to it. I wish I could have had that remove blemishes in high school. Yeah, wouldn't that have been nice? Oh, he did himself. Good job, dear. All right. Where I live, overhead power lines are a constant problem for photography. Maybe you're like Mark Poley and can just throw your kayak out in the lake and peacefully photograph eagles in their natural habitat, but living in Los Angeles introduces different challenges. On one of my walks around the neighborhood, I realized that one of my more playful neighbors had put a giant winged gargoyle on top of their chimney. I had my iPhone with me, so I snapped a photo. When I see things like this, I simply don't notice all of the other distractions. But when I got home, I realized they had a pretty nasty looking TV antenna on the roof and a really ugly power line coming to a pole on top of the roof as well. This is where Touch Retouch can really shine. The next tool in our arsenal is called the Line Removal tool, and it is really pretty magical. Once you select the Line Removal tool, you get two new options, Line Remover and Segment Remover. The instructions for these two tools in the help section are a bit confusing, so I'm going to try to help with my own instruction, or description, I should say. The problem with removing lines is that it gets really hard to accurately select just the line when you select the endpoints. You know, when you get to the end, it's hard to just get the line, and you don't want to get the thing it's stuck to, and trying to stay straight on the line. It's really hard. Well, Touch Retouch has a fabulous solution to this. You let the application do the tricky parts of the selection. To remove the entire line, you simply drag across a portion of it, say in an area where it's easy to select. When the line remover works, it is magical. As with everything else in retouching photos like this, though, sometimes it doesn't work as you would hope. For example, on my antenna problem, it had a series of rods to the right and an identical set to the left. In both cases, the rods were against a pure blue sky. I used the line remover tool to drag across a portion of each rod on the right, and they disappeared in their entirety, leaving no trace of themselves on the sky. But when I dragged across the ones on the left, most of the rods left remnants on screen. And I don't understand that because it was symmetrical. I mean, it looked exactly the same, but the right worked and the left didn't. Some of the ones on the left, it left like the ends and the easy end that wasn't near anything, not the end that was near the pole. And some left a dark line on the sky and some left both. I can't really see why the rods on the left were failed by Touch Retouch and the ones on the right worked so perfectly. The power line was this large twisted pair of different colored wires, and it erased easily with just a couple of swipes. That was fantastic. The second tool inside the line removal set of tools is called Segment Remover. Remember, the first one was called Line Remover, and you select a small section of a line to get rid of the whole line. Now, Segment Remover seems to be oddly named to me. To use Segment Remover, you have to select the entire line you want to remove. You'd think it'd be the other way around. When I tried to select just a segment of my ugly power line, the behavior was completely unpredictable. Sometimes it would erase what I'd drawn over, sometimes it would erase more of the line. One time it selected the line on the other side of my selection, but not my selection. However, when I followed the directions correctly and I dragged across the entire power line using Segment Remover, it did a really good job of clearing it away against a solid blue sky. The one thing I don't like about the line removal tool is that when you're drawing on a line, you don't see a thick green area where your finger is dragged. Instead, you see a very thin white line. Now, the settings option gives you a choice of thin, medium, or thick. It's not a slider on this one. But that gives you no indication on screen of how big those three sizes are. I'm sure my line thickness has something to do with the accuracy of my removals, but it wasn't clear to me whether making it thicker or thinner should improve my attempted line removals. In the tutorial section, they do say that the line removal tools can be used on facial wrinkles. That's cool too. As a grandmother, I can certainly appreciate that. Stopping to save and have a sip of a cold beverage.
So TJ pointed out you left the Yagi antenna on top of the house in that re-edit. I don't think you attempted to remove it.
What Yagi antenna?
I'm not looking at it, so I probably should look at it.
No, I didn't. This is the final image.
Yeah, it is gone. Well,
that's the final image, you guys.
Yeah, it does look, well, maybe a piece of it, it does, maybe that slight discoloration just above the beam.
But he said I didn't remove it, and it's gone. It's not there. There's no antennas in that picture I can see.
Yeah, I can't see it, but there is a slight discoloration in the blue sky.
That was part of the point. I did it in, I went back with Affinity Photo and fixed it.
Got it.
All right. Back here. Okay. Tell me where that antenna is, Toby. Take a screenshot of that and point at it for me.
He may have been referring to the discoloration.
Oh, he was just pointing out it was Yagi.
It was Yagi. I see.
Yagi. Only you would know that. Sandy, remove my wrinkles. Sandy, I actually have a really cool trick for this. Send me a picture that you like, but you don't like your wrinkles, and I will do something amazing with it for you. It's a really cool trick I learned a long time ago.
Accentuate them?
No. Seriously,
I'm
Sandy,
gonna mute now.
Send me a picture. Yeah, go away, Steve. You can only get dug in here. Okay. Oh, I'm sold. This will help with my car photography. Yay! Good. Okay. You can remove wrinkles with gin and tonics. Okay, I got to stop watching the chat room. I got to keep working. Here we go. When you've done all you can to improve your photo, actually, I didn't start talking quickly enough on that. Start faster. When you've done all you can to improve your photo, you're likely to still have some aberrations either from the original photo or caused by the retouches you've made. The last tool set we have is called the clone stamp. Inside the clone stamp, you have 3 options and a settings icon. If you select the brush, you get a circle with, I almost said turtle for some reason. You get a circle with crosshairs that you drag around on screen to choose the source for your cloning. And then once it's in place, you simply drag your finger on screen to execute the clone. Now, with most apps, that's all she wrote. But with Touch Retouch, the settings allow you to change not only the size of your clone area, but also the hardness and the opacity of the cloning. I played around with making a ghostly copy of my gargoyle out in the sky by setting the opacity quite low. Now, with most applications, this effect would be destructive. But with the eraser tool inside the clone tool, you can actually remove the cloned area. So you can actually edit what's been cloned after the fact. Not only that, but with the opacity set to low, as you brush on the cloning, it becomes more and more opaque as though you're layering on the effect. I thought that was really, really interesting. Finally, you have a mirroring option inside the clone stamp that I've never seen before. It has 4 options: no mirroring at all, horizontal, vertical, or diagonal. Horizontal and vertical are pretty obvious, but diagonal is kind of an odd option. I studied it for a while and I tried it with different geometry, trying to even figure out what it was doing. It appears to be flipping the image upside down and flipping it right to left, a combination of the horizontal and vertical mirroring. I have to say that the eraser in the clone stamp tool set is my favorite thing because you can, test these things out, making a complete muck-up of your image and then erase the things you created. It's really, really slick. While cloning worked on high contrast items like my gargoyle, I had less success smoothing out my sky where the line removal had left some artifacts. You can still see some smudges in the blue. We see a solid blue sky as the same color, but moving just slightly up or down, right or left, does change the hue and saturation of the color, so cloning is more problematic than ever. I think there are other tools that I have in my arsenal that would have done a little better job with the sky smudges, to be honest. As you're learning to use Touch Retouch, you'll be tempted to jump out and go watch the tutorial for the tool you're trying to learn. They realize this, so when you hit the home button in the top left, you'll see the original 2 options, album and tutorials, but you'll also have a circle with a tiny version of the image you've been editing, and underneath it, it'll say latest edits. If you watch a tutorial and then tap your latest edits, you'll be able to keep working on the same image, even if you haven't saved it yet. So you're partway through fixing it, but you're not done. Jump out, go watch a video, and come back. There are also 3 dots next to latest edits, which when tapped reveals a button to continue editing or to clear edits. Very nice little touch that I've never seen before in any app. Now, speaking of saving, the share button in Touch Retouch allows you to save a copy back in your photos library, modify the original, or share to social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter. Is Tumblr still a thing? Anyway, you can also email directly from here, copy the image to the clipboard, or open it in another application. I tested opening the image in Affinity Photo, which is a $20 app for iPad, and using the healing brush in there, I was able to really clean up the sky much better than I could with the $2 retouch. That makes sense though, right? For $2, Touch Retouch is amazing, but if you're really into this stuff, you're going to end up with a lot of tools in your arsenal. Back on the export options, at the bottom of that window, you can reveal settings to change from JPEG to PNG or TIFF, and to set the size from the default of original to small, medium, or large. With JPEG selected, you can set the quality of the JPEG as well. One interesting tidbit when saving a copy of a corrected image back to your photos library. Touch Retouch saves the corrected version with the same date as your original, so they stay sorted together, which is really cool. I do really like Touch Retouch, especially for the quick fixes that take a good photo and make it great. It is underpriced at $2, so I will not listen to any whining about having to pay $2 for the iPhone and iPad version. I hope it'll make you happy too. That was longer than I thought. Wow.
Yeah, that was a pretty long one. Did you do a save and chapter mark as Rick commands?
I did a save, but I'm thinking...
Well, I guess I commanded, but Rick's executing.
Man, I'm tempted to save my Affinity publisher to next week.
How many minutes are you?
I'm at 24 minutes, and I've got a chit chat. I've got security bits that is 52 minutes long.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I got that for next week. Wow, I almost wrote a third thing.
So the one you're not doing is
Affinity Publisher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Wow.
Just leave them hanging like that. Bait and switch.
Yep. Well, this would save me a lot of work next week. All right, here we go. Gonna go and do some Patreon here. I mentioned up front that I use a lot of methods to tell you to make sure you got the right version of the episode last week after I fixed that bork up. If you're already a patron of the Podfeed podcast, you would have had another way to be notified. As soon as I realized there was a problem, I jumped into Patreon and I sent a message to all of the patrons telling them about how to see if they have the right version and how to get it if they have the wrong one. If you're interested in becoming a patron for any reason, please head over to podfeed.com/Patreon and pledge $1 amount per week to help we keep the lights on here. It's a little clumsy, but now I'm going to do security bits.
How long was that? 52 minutes, you said?
Yeah.
Whew.
Well, that's standard fare, isn't it?
Was it a good one?
Yeah. Bart and I were both really good moods, so that's what makes a good one, you know?
Any good, really good viruses or something that out there?
Well, yeah, the thing that really pissed me off is what Google did. Let's see, I need some security bits music. Well, you're going to have to listen, aren't you, Steve?
Not showing up at the Senate hearing? That's not what you meant by
Maybe. What am I looking for? Security bits music. This is the one. This one is from Digital Juice.
Yes. Steve selected.
No, they were quite naughty.
Oh, right. Yes, I do remember this.
Actually, I don't think I do that at the same time.
And they played coy, as I recall.
Do you remember? So what did they do? They made a deal with MasterCard to share. If you saw an ad and then bought something at a brick and mortar store using your MasterCard, they were able to match you. They made a secret deal with MasterCard.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. Okay.
Yeah. So brick and mortar store. So I see an ad from Google for a camera, and then I drive over to Best Buy and I buy it with my MasterCard. They knew that was me. They connected me.
Are they trying to do something about it, or they're just gathering that info? They're not taking action. Well, I guess they are ultimately taking action at some point in time.
That's how they're proving the validity, the value of their ads.
Yeah.
Okay. I can now. Oh, geez.
What's wrong?
Pete. Oh, it's just taking a long time to do what I needed to do.
Oh, Frank, that mantle is pretty cheap. It's not very many bits, and if you'd like, we can move it about a little bit.
The mantle?
He wants to know how much that clock on the mantle was.
Oh,
maybe. Do you mean the digital one or the analog one? The one to the left or the one to the right?
Better or worse? Better or worse? What are you doing? Okay.
Siri.
Let's see. Hang on. Well, it's that time of the. Okay,
I'm going.
No. You no stay. In fact, showing my screen would be more interesting than showing us. Yeah.
You want the whole screen?
This is
nothing but the
sure.
screen.
It's that time of the week. Okay, so that's that one. Oh, I got to split both of these. That's right. Nope. Yeah, no. So I'm doing the double ender. I hope you guys appreciate the double ender. You guys appreciate it?
You might want to explain what that is one more time.
So this is where what I'm doing right now is the blue ones you see, that's Bart's recording of him and me. So the two tracks, the lower of this one, the darker, the one that's orange now, that's me, and that's him, and that's recorded by him. But then this is me and this is him on my recording. So we're doing this because, let's see, that's Bart. That's me. Is that right? Well, it's that time. Yeah, that's me. So we're getting rid of me on his track and him on my track. And then we put the two together like so. And now you've got a good recording of both of us.
In theory.
What?
Now, they're all synced up?
Yeah, well, we're going to find
Let's
out
do a
in a
test.
second here. Well, that's what I'm about to do. So I got to put that there, and I'm going to put this and this here, and I'm going to slide that out to about right there. Let's hear how this sounds. $1 amount per week to help we keep the lights on here. Oh, I muted that
I
track.
don't hear a thing.
Yep, you won't. We keep the lights on here. Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time for Security Bits with Bart Bouchat's. Been looking forward to this today, Bart. Oh.
It's not just me.
Oh, hang on.
What's wrong?
He was recording longer than I was. Hang on.
Oh, so that's
I
not
could
the
play
actual.
I could play it for you if you wanted to hear it, but
Well,
I screwed up. I said it was Chit Chat Across the Pond, and it was supposed to be Security Bits.
Ah.
So I don't have the right version of him.
Uh-oh.
Hang on, I gotta.
No, 2 days, Alison. 2 days.
Wait.
That's true. Black Cat and DEFCON were last. I put a lot of it in suggest. Yeah, it's why something's gone wrong with the
Okay, now I don't know where he starts.
Well, play that through
I think it's
with the laugh,
No.
just to make sure you know where he is.
no. I think it's that, and I think I should put him about there. Let's see if this plays like it makes any sense. Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time for Security Bits with Bart Bouchat's. Been looking forward to this today, Bart.
Yeah, it's why
Gotta move him over a little bit. Shots. Been looking forward to this today, Bart.
Yeah, it's why something's gone wrong with the universe, Alison. My scroll bar is too small.
Oh man. Well, I'll try to ask a lot of questions then.
I put a lot. I put a lot of it in suggested reading because it didn't quite meet the bar, and yet it was worth including. So yeah,
Okay.
I don't know what's going on. Maybe everyone's coming back to school and was like, "Oh,
That was good.
I could play you. Actually, can I do this? I think I have a QuickTime block. If I turn this QuickTime block on, I think I'll save before I do this.
Save.
I think I should let you hear what Bart was laughing about. So this version I think you should be able to hear this.
What was that?
Oh, he always says "pink" when he hits
cue.
the red record button.
Audio cue.
So when I was on his show, I did a backup recording for him, and I said "pink," and he just laughed. So, okay, here we go. Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time for Chit Chat Across the Pond. No, it isn't. All right,
not
let's
just
try this
me."
again. Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time for Security Bits with Bart Bouchat's. Been looking forward to this. I should have left that in.
Yeah, that's actually pretty funny.
Okay. All right. He gets his shows mixed up all the time. All right.
You got too many
now,
shows.
Uh-oh.
What?
It wasn't doing what I thought it should do. There we go. All right. Where's the end of the show? It had terror in it and intrigue and laughter. It had everything.
It was a roller coaster, is what you're saying.
I think so. All right. Well, we'll talk to you again in a couple of weeks.
Indeed. And until then, stay patched and stay secure.
He sounds a little delayed.
He does.
But at the
This
beginning, are you synced up?
That's the problem. There's actually a drift in
Wow.
Skype, I know.
That's not good.
Well, that's the problem with the double ender, is you get
Yeah.
drift. Let me see whether because I can move him up a little bit, but listen to it at
See
the
how much,
beginning.
Yeah.
Bart Bouchat's. Been looking forward to this today, Bart.
Yeah, it's why
I can move it a little bit, but
Yeah.
not much.
The place you want to look is where you have that little spike in your audio, right where your cursor is. To the right. To the right. There.
You mean there?
That spike's got to land in his valley. See that
Okay.
little spike?
Yeah, you're thinking there isn't a delay that grows over time,
But this
and
will-
there is. But
yeah.
okay, let's listen.
Let's just
It
make
was
sure
worth
this-
including. So yeah.
Okay,
I don't know what's going.
there. See, now it's off, and I had
Yeah.
it on before.
Yeah.
So
Including. So yeah.
okay,
I don't know what's going.
that's where
That's
it
a
was
line.
before I changed it. Yeah,
Now go back to the end. I just want to hear that again.
you should edit all the audio. It's entertaining. It had terror in it, and intrigue, and laughter. It had everything.
It was a roller coaster, is what you're saying.
I think so. All right. Well, we'll talk to you again in a couple of weeks.
Indeed. And until then, stay patched, stay secure.
Yeah, I would leave it.
Yep. Stop. Okay.
Or just take out a millisecond every 5 seconds.
Oh, thanks, Steve. That's a great idea. All right. Bringing it home now.
Sandy didn't. I think Sandy is mocking me.
Sandy's on my side. She's
Yeah.
my wing woman.
Wing woman.
Okay, here we go. Okay, now I pushed the steep audio button and his face disappeared. So there's something weird.
Oh, you want to go back to your
Okay.
face?
No. I turned off your audio and your face disappeared in my in this thing, whatever the
Let me try
Memo
it.
call.
If I turn it off, does that happen?
Sometimes. No, now you're still there.
Audio on.
Okay, now let me turn you off. Come back. Nope. There's some random behavior. All right, it's the least of our problems with Memo.
That's
All right, here we go. Well, that's going to wind us up for this week. Do not forget to send in your dumb questions, comments, and suggestions. You can email me always at allison@podfeet.com. I love to hear from people, and I give good answers. I help people. It's really, really fun. It's one of my favorite things about doing the show. You can also follow me on Twitter @podfeet. Now, remember, everything good starts with podfeet.com. You want to join the Patreon, because you want to be able to get those notifications. You want to help support the show, podfeet.com/Patreon. You want to hang out in Facebook. You're already there anyway. You might as well come join our fabulous Facebook group. It's so much fun. That's at podfeet.com/Facebook. You don't like Facebook? You like to do Google Plus? Go over there, podfeet.com/Google Plus. We have fun over there too. You want to join our Discord chat because you want to go listen to the our chat with us while the Apple announcement's going on? Podfeet.com/chat. You want to help with some Amazon affiliate links? Podfeet.com/Amazon. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, head on over to podfeet.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Why did you come in on audio while I was screwing up the line?
Well, I wanted to say something, but I decided not to.
Well, I can hear you. Let me see how badly it sounds. How bad it nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic. Okay, fine. I'm redoing
You
it.
got to do it. Yeah.
You want to help with some Amazon affiliate links? Podfeet.com/Amazon. And if you want to join in the fun of the fine.
Fine. I think you should. I like.
Muting Steve. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, missed you this week, Kevin, head on over to podfeet.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. I invented vocal fry.
I think you did.
Oh, Rick liked my little shout out to the man. It's not the same without him.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't put my intro in. My intro music.
Uh-oh.
I should do that. I usually do that early on, and I did not do that. Let's see. And stay subscribed. All right. Pull that up. I wish I knew the way to do this in fewer steps, but oh, fine. I don't care that much. Bring you down.
8-bit pod feed.
What are those orange things? I keep
That's
seeing
the
that
pod
blink
feed.
on my right screen and left. Oh my gosh, it is. 8-bit pod feed. The friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed.
No wonder your
They
toe
chose
feels
the name
bad.
Rocket City Trash Pandas.
What
That is
did?
the best name ever. Huh? Huh?
Baseball farm team? Oh, my goodness.
All right, let's put this up here and see whether I nailed it. Never know.
Trash bins.
Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast. It's too loud. No matter what it is, it's too loud.
What? I can't hear you anymore.
Hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, September 9th, 2018, and this is show number 696. Well,
What's wrong with that? Oh, the timing?
yeah, it's a little early, but I'd have to slide everything and I'd screw it up, so we aren't fixing
You
it.
could just take the volume down right there when you start walking. Or-
No, it's the beat.
Oh,
Listen to the beat. 196. Well, last week's show had... That's why I used to do it at the same time, but it
Yeah.
self-records.
yeah.
I've got a loop there. Nobody noticed but me all these years. All right, I think we are a wrap. See, I told you I'd be done early. Did we?
Yes.
Let's do a poll. Who's coming to chat with us on Wednesday?
I am.
No, put your name down. All right, Sandy's going to be in. Steve will be in. That's good.
Maybe
I'm
driving.
going to be there.
Okay, we
Uh-oh.
have 3.
Rick will be
2.5.
there. Let's. I hope somebody else drives. Yeah, get away from the hurricane. All right, John's going to try.
I guess some people
We won't tell
do
NASA.
have to work.
Oh, your
or go
wife
to
will drive
school.
through. What's that?
Some people do have to work or go to school.
Dorothy says it depends.
Oh,
Rick
Rush
will
miss
chat.
it.
All
That's
right,
okay.
Frank will be there. Okay. Oh, good. Frank's bringing dip. Wait, Rush is here?
He is
Rush,
here. When did he get in?
You missed it. Before you got in, I said that if you are late again, you have to bring the drinks and the cupcakes next time.
Well, he's missing. There's a trash bin. Nice.
The trash pandas.
you, Ian.
That is. Oh wait, when did Ian get here? Maybe
Yeah, well,
Ian should bring the
several
dip.
People snuck in.
Yeah, the house. It's packed house. There was a lot of empty chairs when I started. All right. This is a fun show, guys. I really like doing this with you guys here. It makes me happy.
Me too.
Otherwise, it's just this sad, lonely little microphone. Just me and my microphone. It's very
It doesn't
sad
talk
and lonely.
back.
No, no, it doesn't, Steve. Oh, that's funny. All right, well, I'm excited. This might end up more expensive than I thought. My son just said that he might need a new computer.
I
His
thought he-
birthday and Christmas coming up. You thought what?
Never mind.
You thought he wanted a hand-me-down? Well, he would take a hand-me-down, but neither of us need
Yes.
Yes, he's quite gainfully employed. But he knows I like to buy him computers. He's got my first generation 12-inch MacBook, so he said, I really tried to like the keyboard, but I really don't. It had the very first keyboard with the tiny butterfly keys, so the really short throw. All right, well, I think we should let them out of class. I told
think
him I'd
we
let them
should.
out early, and it's 2 minutes till.
Yeah, let's see if we can beat 6 o'clock. Pacific.
All right, Rose. Did Rose say she was coming to the live show?
She
3
has not
a.m.'s for me, so
3
chances
a.m.
are slim.
No, not doing it. Okay.
No, not going to do it. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Bye, Rose. Mwah.